What if the reason you can't emotionally connect with your husband has nothing to do with your relationship and everything to do with what's stored in your body? I'm Jenna Wall, a mind-body practitioner specializing in trauma release. And after 8 years of working with women just like you, I can tell you resentment doesn't just live in your mind, it lives in your fascia. And until it's released from the body, no amount of date nights, heart-to-heart talks, or have you tried the 5 love languages yet is going to create the closeness that you are craving. The good news, you don't need years of talk therapy. You just need the right technique. And that's exactly what this video is about. I'm going to show you what emotional intimacy actually is, why your body may be quietly blocking it, even when your heart desperately wants in, and 5 simple ways to start rebuilding it back without forcing it, performing it, or pretending everything is fine when it absolutely is not. So let's get into it. Here's something that nobody tells you. You can love your husband and still feel completely emotionally drained by 8 p.m. Not because you stopped caring about him or that something is wrong with you, but because your body is overloaded. Emotional intimacy is that feeling of being known, safe, open, connected. It's being able to let your guard down without bracing for impact. It's being honest about what you feel, what you need, and what's hard without already predicting how that conversation is going to end. For a lot of moms, emotional intimacy doesn't disappear because the relationship is failing. It disappears because your nervous system is running on fumes. And when you're managing kids, noise, needs, schedules, and approximately 11,000 invisible tasks, your body starts protecting you by pulling away. You don't want another conversation. You don't want more touch. You don't want to explain yourself one more time to one more person. That does not make you a bad wife. It means that your system is just maxed out, and a maxed out system does not let go on command or through thought. This is how so many couples quietly become roommates, not because love disappeared, but because your capacity did. If that's where you are at right now, this is not the end of your connection. It's literally a sign. Your body and your relationship are both asking for gentleness, not more effort, not another strategy, not another to-do list, gentleness. And if you just thought, how does she know all this about me? And you want further than just a YouTube video, the Anchored Heart is my workshop that I built exactly for this, for the woman who's done talking about it and ready to actually take action and feel different in her home. And you can find the link in the description below. Now, most women think the problem is that they and their husband just don't communicate well. And some of that is true, but here's what's usually underneath it. Your body, again, is protecting you. If your nervous system has learned to expect stress, disappointment, criticism, or emotional loneliness, it's gonna shut down automatically before you even decide to. You go quiet, you get snappy, you stop sharing. Underneath all of that armor, that hardness, is a nervous system that quietly decided, okay, it's gonna be safer not to need. And that's exactly what you learned in your childhood. It's safer not to open. It's safer not to even expect too much or that anyone's going to be there for you. And this is gonna bubble up again from childhood, how you were parented, from past wounds, from chronic stress, or from the relentless, unglamorous grind of motherhood, where you're just giving so much of yourself for so long that even receiving feels like it's going to be too much work. So when your husband senses that something's wrong and he says, hey, what's wrong? And you say, nothing, I'm fine. That's not dishonesty. That's actually just dysregulation because you don't even want to share all the things that's wrong. And that's where emotional intimacy starts to quietly erode. Not because you don't care again, but because you're just armored up. The goal is not to rip the armor off and force vulnerability before your body is ready. Because now that you are building this awareness and you're like, oh, I can just think my way to feeling safe. That's not how this works. The goal is to create enough internal safety that honesty starts to feel possible again. This is when you start to feel safe to set boundaries, because boundaries are for you, not for other people. Okay, so let's get into the 5 steps. Step 1, honest communication that actually feels safe. And I know what you're thinking. Great, she's going to tell me to communicate better. Now stay with me, because honest communication is not the same as the 10 p.m. relationship summit where everyone is exhausted and someone ends up crying. Open communication means telling the truth clearly, calmly, without attacking and without shutting down. Not, you never help me. I've been feeling really overloaded and I miss feeling like we're on the same team. One sentence opens a door, the other one starts a fight. That kind of honesty gives your partner something to actually respond to, and it lowers defensiveness. It's going to move both of you from blame into something that actually resembles understanding. And if this feels hard, good. That means it's real work. Okay. So start small. You don't need to say everything. You need to say something more honest than I'm fine. One sentence, one moment of truth, one small opening. That's it. That's step 1. So step 2 and 3 is active listening and quality time, which is not what you think. Quality time does not mean a fancy dinner where you talk about the kids the whole freaking time. And then when you don't have anything else to talk about the kids, you just stare at each other awkwardly. And then active listening is staying present long enough to hear the feeling underneath what your partner is actually saying. I learned in church the other month, February, that we were learning about love. And he said, do not listen only to be forming your next response. Active listening is literally listening to what the other individual has to say and allowing it to set in, and then even asking questions to clarify what they were actually sharing. Not fixing, not defending, not mentally composing your rebuttal while they're still talking, just listening to understand. And quality time, it's not just sitting on the same couch scrolling separate phones while something streams in the background. That's proximity. Okay, that's not connection. Quality time is intentional, even if it's just 10 minutes in the kitchen after the kids go to bed. For a lot of women, what actually rebuilds emotional intimacy isn't grand romance. It's going to be those small moments of being seen, a real check-in, eye contact that lasts longer than 2 seconds, a conversation that isn't just logistics and scheduling. You can start with something simple. What felt heavy for you today? What do you need more of from me this week? When do you feel most disconnected from me lately? And these questions are going to bring you back into each other's inner world. And that inner world is exactly where intimacy lives. And if you want more on how stress in the body affects your marriage and your emotional availability, subscribe, because this is going to be a huge part of the work that we are going to do here. And also, if you've been doing all the right things, the books, the podcast, the conversations, and something still feels stuck, that something is usually in the body. So the Anchored Heart Workshop is exactly where we are going to learn the tools to release resentment from your body, which again, the link is in the description below. Now, steps 4 and 5, empathy and physical affection. These are the last 2 steps, and these 2 are where your body really starts to remember that closeness can feel safe. Empathy first. Empathy is not agreeing with everything your partner says. It's being with them in what they feel without making it about you. What empathy is going to sound like is, that makes sense. I can see why that's been really difficult. That's it. 2 sentences. And that's going to soften their defensiveness. Now, physical affection is the other piece. And before you roll your eyes, I see you. Simple, non-demand touch. Hand on their back. A real kiss that's going to last longer than a second and a half. Sitting close enough that your shoulders are touching. Touch that says, I'm here with you. Not, I need something from you. And for moms, especially, physical closeness gets complicated when you're touched out, right? And touch has become associated with one more thing being asked of you, which is why gentle, no pressure affection is the thing that starts rebuilding safety. Because emotional intimacy grows when both people feel felt, not managed, not corrected, not mothered, not dismissed, felt. Now, when you combine empathy, honest conversation, intentional time, and safe touch, you start rebuilding the emotional bond that stress has quietly worn thin. You don't have to fix everything this week. Start with one warm touch, one validating sentence, one moment of staying open instead of shutting down, and then do it again for the next week, and then switch it up for the following week. And you're going to start noticing that your standards for your relationship start to improve because you're making the conscious effort and the intention behind how you show up in the relationship. So if emotional intimacy has felt far away, if you've been lying next to the person you love and still feel light years away, that does not mean that your love is gone. It means your body, your heart, and your relationship are all asking for something safer or something more honest than it's fine. You are not too far gone, and your relationship does not need a perfect version of you. It needs the real you, supported, grounded, willing to begin again and again. One small, imperfect, genuinely human moment at a time. If this felt like coming home just a little, make sure to subscribe and pass this video along. And when you're ready to take this out of your head and into your actual body, join me within the Anchored Heart Workshop. Go ahead and sign up using the description below. Now that you understand what emotional intimacy is and what's actually blocking it, the next piece is learning how to regulate your nervous system so connection actually feels possible in your body. Because you can know all 5 steps and still feel frozen when it matters. That's where nervous system regulation comes in. And I broke it all down in this video right here. So watch this next. And when you pair what you just learned with what's in that video, it's a completely different level. See you there.